A lot of stars leave Hollywood at some point in their lives, and it's usually for a bad reason. Some do it after being told they have a major sickness, like Christina Applegate, who has multiple sclerosis. Some people, like Roseanne Barr, who made news in 2018 with a racist tweet, don't want to get involved in public issues. Another actor is Val Kilmer, who became famous in 1986 when he played Tom Iceman Kazansky in the hit movie Top Gun starring Tom Cruise. Despite being diagnosed with throat cancer and being accused of being difficult to work with on set many times, Kilmer has stayed in movies and has been in almost every movie since his first one in 1984, Top Secret, as Nick Rivers. Even though he has been in a lot of bad press over the years, Kilmer has been able to keep working steadily, playing powerful roles like Jim Morrison in The Doors 1991 and Batman Forever 1995. But his life has never been easy, even before he became famous. As a kid, the actor had to deal with death, broken relationships, and other problems. These experiences affected him when he became an adult and became famous. Keep reading to find out the sad whole story of Kilmer's life. Eugene and Gladys Kilmer got a divorce when Val was 9 years old, which made his home life very different. He felt like the only one of his friends who wasn't going through terrible things. Kilmer told The Telegraph, "At the time it was clear to me that this was the worst thing I'd ever been through. It was seen as what it was, an odd event that something bad had happened." After their parents split up, Val, his older brother Mark Kilmer, and his younger brother Wesley Kilmer moved in with Eugene. However, Val wasn't friendly with his father. He also said, "For a very long time things didn't go well between my father and me." Val also didn't get along well with Mark. After Eugene died in 1995, they got into a fight over his estate. A source who spoke to Radar said that after Val was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2015, the brothers started to get along again. Mark explained, "Val has no example in his life of a good relationship he can look to. Mark is a well-regarded psychologist, so he doesn't see eye to eye with Val's Christian Science beliefs," the person said. It has caused a rift between them in the past, but now they're finally getting closer again. It's possible that Val Kilmer had trouble getting along with his father and older brother, but not with his younger brother. So when Wesley Kilmer died in a terrible accident in 1977, it meant a lot to him. According to records from the Los Angeles coroner's office, Wesley, who had epilepsy, had a seizure and drowned in a spa near the pool while the Kilmer's maid, who was watching him at the time, went to the store quickly. Val told The Telegraph about Wesley, who wanted to be a director. "Well, my little brother was just an amazing artist, a genius. When he died, the people at his funeral, the adults and children, it was amazing. They were all his friends. I was kind of in awe of him." Val thought he could have been the next George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, whose praise shocked the director of Top Gun Maverick. He would have done anything to make his dreams come true. Even though Val was heartbroken about the loss, he had to quickly focus on his own goals. The future actor went straight from Wesley's funeral to Juilliard, where he was accepted into the acting school and started his trip to the big screen. Still, Wesley was always on his mind. When Val started to get known in public, he used his late brother's name to check into hotels. It almost looked like Top Gun and Val Kilmer's career would have been very different. Kilmer wrote in his 2020 autobiography, "I'm Your Huckleberry," about how he didn't want to be in the movie or play Iceman at first. He wrote to NBC News, "I didn't want the part. I didn't care about the movie. The story didn't interest me." His agent forced him to do the audition, even though he didn't want to. Kilmer tried to mess up the audition on purpose. "I read the lines indifferently, and yet amazingly I was told I had the part," he shared. "I felt more deflated than inflated." Eventually he changed his mind about Top Gun, which opened in the United States to almost $8.2 million in ticket sales. Kilmer was upset to hear that he wouldn't be asked to return for the sequel, Top Gun Maverick, which came out in 2022. This time, though, he didn't do everything he could to avoid being hired. Instead, he went above and beyond to play Iceman again and work with Tom Cruise again. Kilmer came up with a whole plot for Iceman for Top Gun Maverick. I had not only talked to the producers but I had also made up sad scenes with Iceman, he said. The producers went for it. Crews went for it. Crews couldn't have been cooler. The 1995 movie Batman Forever was a big hit, making over $52.7 million in its first weekend in theaters across the United States. However, the lead actor Val Kilmer is obviously missing from the 1997 movie Batman and Robin, which stars George Clooney as the superhero. Kilmer, who might or might not be a better Batman than Robert Pattinson, and director Joel Schumacher had a lot of problems on set. Schumacher told The Telegraph that Kilmer was childish and impossible and the most psychologically disturbed human being I have ever worked with. Kilmer is known for being very picky about his work, and Schumacher isn't the only one who thinks this badly of him. Early in his career, he got a pretty bad name in Hollywood. Over the years, many directors have come forward to talk about their bad experiences with him. The second director of The Island of Dr. Moreau, John Frankenheimer, told Entertainment Weekly, "I don't like Val Kilmer, I don't like his work ethic, and I don't want to be associated with him ever again." It is said that Kilmer burned a Dr. Moreau shooter with a cigarette, told everyone on the set of The Saint in 1997 not to look at him, and fired a prop gun in The Real McCoy in 1993 because director Russell Mulcahy wouldn't let him have his way with a scene. Kilmer was asked about his behavior and said, "If I'm demanding, which I don't think I am, it's for the good of the picture." Val Kilmer, who had to be written out of the 2022 season of Willow, and Joanne Whalley fell in love quickly on the set of Willow in 1988. They got married just a few months after meeting for the first time, but their quick romance wasn't meant to last forever. 8 years later, Kilmer was shooting The Island of Dr. Moreau in the Virgin Islands and was watching CNN in his hotel room. He was shocked to see that Whalley had filed for divorce from him because they could no longer get along. "It's a really weird thing, modern divorce. I found out I was getting divorced on television. That was kind of weird," Kilmer told the newspaper. Still, he worked hard to make sure that his two kids with Whalley, Mercedes, born in 1991, and Jack, born just a few weeks before the divorce, wouldn't be hurt as badly as he was when he was young. "It's more normal to be divorced now," he stated. "It's not something bad now that parents just love each other differently and say the things that counselors teach them to say when they don't know what to say to their kids." The three people Kilmer is close with are Mercedes, Jack, and his two sons, Jack and Mercedes. Both he and his daughter were in the 2020 movie Pay Dirt, and Jack was an associate director and narrator for the 2021 film Val. People today may enjoy their bodies, but in the early 2000s, when tabloids wrote whole stories about celebrities gaining or losing weight, body acceptance was almost non-existent. These kinds of stories were written about Val Kilmer a lot. In 2007, the Daily Mail wrote one called "Val Kilmer Goes from Batman to Fat Man" after he was seen on the beach without a six-pack. Then in 2012, the star was criticized by the press for looking too thin. A TMZ source said that Kilmer realized one day that he wasn't happy with his health and took steps to get back on track, such as eating better and moving more every day. Kilmer got tired of people criticizing how he looked and posted a statement on Facebook saying that he also had to lose weight to play Mark Twain in a movie he was writing and directing at the time. "Can't win in this crazy town, too heavy for too many years, and now gossip says too thin," he wrote in the post. "Mark Twain was a thin man, and finally, after the usual amount of effort, I'm thin again too. Perfect health. Having a ball with my kids over the holidays, making art while doing rewrites, meeting actors and preparing to direct my film, and of course shopping." There have been times over the years when Val Kilmer's money has been tight. In 2011, his ex-wife Joanne Whalley put a lien on his 328-acre Pecos River ranch in New Mexico because he hadn't paid the $27,500 in child support that she was owed. This was a big one. In 2007, Whalley also put a charge on the home of her ex-husband, but the problem was fixed the next year. Then in 2013, Kilmer had a $500,000 lien put on him because Executive Consulting said he hired them in 2011 to help him with his money problems but never paid the $128,000 they agreed to. The star also caused some tax problems for himself. In 2010, the IRS put a lien on his property because he didn't pay $500,000 in federal taxes. Kilmer tried for years and failed to sell his $33 million New Mexico ranch, which he put on the market in 2009. In 2011, he had to lower his price to $18.5 million because no one was interested. Val Kilmer's life changed forever in 2015 when he was told he had throat cancer. A Christian Scientist, he didn't want to go to a regular doctor at first because he thought he could get better through prayer and working with a Christian Science practitioner. But his children's worries made him change his mind, and Kilmer agreed to have surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Kilmer hasn't had cancer since 2016, but he still has to deal with some effects of the disease. He has a voice box to help him talk, a tracheotomy, and a food tube. Even though his doctors have tried to help him, Kilmer is still sure that his prayers are what got him better. He told the New York Times that the tracheotomy was caused by radiation and treatment, not cancer. That treatment caused my suffering. But these new problems haven't been all bad. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Kilmer said, "When one thing is taken, though another is given." With little voice, my creative juices were boiling over and pouring out of me. I started creating again, painting, writing, anything I could. I felt the art healing me. As more and more women came forward in 2017 with sexual abuse claims against Harvey Weinstein, actor Caitlin O'Heaney found the courage to talk about a possible assault by Val Kilmer that happened in 1989 while they were working on The Doors. As a test for the part of Pamela Corson, Jim Morrison's girlfriend, which Meg Ryan finally got, O'Heaney was asked to read a heated scene between Pamela and Jim. She told BuzzFeed that the actor hit her in the face while they were running through the scene. "When I got to the room and Val Kilmer picked me up and shook me, throwing me down to the floor, director Oliver Stone just stood there the whole time laughing," O'Heaney said. "I went down to my car and I cried for about 20 minutes. Risa Bramon Garcia, the casting director, says that Kilmer never hit O'Heaney in the face, which is not how she remembers it. Kilmer did in fact pin her to the wall, but Bramon Garcia says that was part of the scene and O'Heaney knew about it before the tryout. She told the news source it was way blown out of proportion. "I'm not someone who takes this stuff lightly. I know the difference between being abusive and having a moment where things got out of hand, but it was all at work." Val Kilmer's voice was forever damaged by the tracheostomy, which had a huge impact on his daily life and work. "I can't speak without plugging this hole in my throat," he said. "You have to choose whether to breathe or eat," he says in the 2021 documentary Val People. It's a problem that everyone sees. Still, Kilmer is finding new and creative ways to talk to people, thanks in large part to Sonantic. The British startup was given hours of old footage of Kilmer speaking, and they used advanced AI to recreate his voice, which he can now use in both personal and professional settings. The actor said in a statement via Variety, "As humans, being able to communicate is at the core of our existence, and the effects of throat cancer have made it difficult for others to understand me. It's an amazing gift to be able to tell my story in a way that sounds real and comfortable." Also, Kilmer is still making movies with the help of Sonantic, even though he has trouble communicating. One of his biggest successes was playing Iceman again in Top Gun Maverick in 2022, which made Tom Cruise cry. Kilmer's diagnosis and its effects were even written into the script. Iceman dies of cancer in the movie. Val Kilmer has been with a lot of famous women like Angelina Jolie, Cher, and Ellen Barkin. He used to date, but in his autobiography I'm Your Huckleberry, he said, "The truth is I am lonely part of every day." While each breakup was painful, his breakup with Daryl Hannah, whom he dated for a short time in 2001, was by far the worst. The actor said he cried every day for over a year after they broke up. "Lord knows I've felt heartache.
I know I will love her with all my heart forever, and that love hasn't lost any of its strength, he told. But Daryl was by far the most painful. I love Daryl still. Neil Young, Kilmer's ex-girlfriend from the early 1980s, has been married to Hannah since 2018. However, Kilmer has stayed close friends with Cher, who helped him when he was diagnosed with throat cancer. In his autobiography he wrote, "Once Cher works her way into your head and heart, she never leaves. For her true friends she will always love and be faithful."